Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Friday and it is the 24th of October. And this video is for educational purpose only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. It is purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market and maybe teach you guys something. There's no investment advice. There's no recommendation whatsoever intended. We'll start with Tesla today that started out last night in the US session much lower, as you can see here, and it dipped a little bit lower, and at one point I thought, okay, maybe we should have a test of this support here around 410, but no, then buyers suddenly took control and just kept it throughout the session and closed almost at intraday high session. So that was a bit of a statement, I would say. That was a strong statement from buyers that they still believe in the share, even though that there was not so good news coming out of the sales, and they have to call back cars to change some faults on them and everything. So, but very strong move here for Tesla, and so it's still in this bullish trend-like pattern, but in the overall picture here, it's basically just range bound, but it could push higher. We have this bearish engulfing here. It needs to take out to really establish a bullish trend, but that was a statement yesterday. It didn't even touch the 410, so that maybe also dragged the market higher a little bit. Nasdaq back up. It actually started more or less unchanged, as we can see here, but then it ended on a higher note, 0.9% higher almost. So still fairly strong, and there were also some of the other ones like Alphabet also were about 1.6%. So overall, it ended fairly good yesterday, and here pre-market you can see on the US NAS 100 CFD it's pushing higher, and currently trading at all-time high. So we are maybe in for a fairly positive day on the US market. Let's have a look at S&P 500. It was more or less the same picture there, really, and the Dow Jones, well, it also closed on a fairly good note. So still in this bullish trend, we are trading here. Here we have US 500, not all-time highs yet, but very, very close to. So it keeps this bullish trend alive. On the US 30 CFD, we can see that it's also, it's keeping alive, although it is a little bit was challenged back there. In the Asian session, fairly quiet, 0.5% higher, got back above 26,000. Can it stay above or not? And that would be key. I think the next key level will be 26,368. If it can close above that, then I think we are back to a bullish mode. The Nikkei index still above this rising trend line here. If it breaks it, and I would actually put this there, right there, 48,450. If it takes out that, well, then we can see a correction down to around just around 45,200 and 45,190, where we have some support. European markets was a little bit still holding on, despite the fact that it has this here on EuroStoxx50 has this top and reversal pattern in place. But if it doesn't follow through and instead it takes out the 5,699, 5,700, well, then that will be cancelled, and higher levels are in play. Here pre-market, we can see it is likely to challenge it today. We are about 0.5%, 0.4% higher already there. So if it takes out that peak here from earlier this week, well, and the high there, then the top and reversal pattern is cancelled. DAX still needs to close above 24,340 to re-establish the bullish trend. I think it maybe will be done. Positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. If RSI also closes back above 60 threshold, then expect DAX to push higher in the coming days and weeks if that scenario occurs. Here pre-market we can see it is trying to push up there around 24,355. FX markets, not much to talk about on euro dollar, still a little bit under pressure. Negative sentiment, bearish trend. I think it will eventually push lower, and we could actually say, we have a little bit of a falling trend there. It's not the strongest one, but nevertheless. So we are short term in a falling trend or declining trend. Sterling dollar sliding slowly lower. I think it will still slide lower towards 132, possibly dipping lower. It needs to get back about 135.25 to reverse that picture. And euro sterling, will it have another go at 87.25 resistance? If it takes it out, then I think uptrend will resume, and we will see euro sterling pushing higher. 86.55, 86.50 down here. If it takes out that, well, then we have a different scenario. Then we have a bearish trend. On the yen pairs, slowly crawling higher. Dollar yen there. Now above the 786 retracement, very close to testing this peak here, and I think it will take it out. I think it will push higher. Positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating a move up to around 154.40, 154.80, and could push higher in the coming weeks. So it seems to follow the pattern we talked about. Same picture on euro yen. Also very close to the peak there from earlier this month, and that was a larger correction, and now it is really moving fast above that, and I think we'll see a push up to 117.9 in the coming couple of weeks maybe. The Aussie yen also crawling higher towards 100, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it maybe being reached before the day, could be, or early next week. Also here, positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. If RSI gets back above 60, it will further confirm the bullish bounce picture. Sterling yen above resistance there, 203.55, and I think it could reach today 204.30. The 786 retracement also here, no divergence on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels around 207. Aussie dollar on the other hand, still humming away sideways here, and we can it seems like we can put a little bit of a resistance there at 65.25, and to the downside 64.40, and I think actually it will be trading there for quite some time. It's tucked in between the 100, and here we have the 55 and the 200 down here, so it's tucked in here, a range bound basically, and we now no clear direction other than negative sentiment on the RSI. We are in a bearish trend, but still holding on there, so I will wait and see what's happening. Dollar Canada in a correction mode. I actually expected to dip to the 200 moving average and the 38.2 retracement there at 139.45, but maybe it's bouncing back before then. Let's see about that. If it takes out the peak here at 140.80, well, then we are looking at 141.50 area, possibly higher. Sterling Canada dipping a little bit below the 786 retracement, but yeah, it seems like it will bounce from here, and if it does, then we can also put in a Fibonacci the other way. There we are, and I think first stage will be the 38.2 retracement there at 187.34. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we are likely to push higher. So that is the picture at the moment. Unless it takes out the lows today, then we are likely to see it down here around 185. Euro Swiss still in the bouncing mode, but can't really get its mojo together. So let's see if it takes out the lows here, then push lower below 92 is in the cards, and we are back in the 2015 sell-off dip there. But I still think we should see a bounce up to around 92, 92.70, 75. Dollar Swiss. Well, yeah, got rejected. Got a little bit tired there, just below the 55 moving average after spiking above 50%. So I actually expected to get all the way up to the 61.8 retracement at 80, but for now it doesn't really seem like it. But let's see, it's a little bit up in the air at the moment. A little, so it's almost mirroring the euro dollar that can't make up its mind either. So we can see 100 coming down there, 55 moving average coming down there. So there's a lot of overhead resistance. So really not no clear picture really. I think if it starts sliding lower here below the cloud again, then we could have these lows here we're putting on pressure, but there is really some strong overhead resistance there. Dollar index crawling higher towards the 786 retracement and 98, so just around 99. I think it will be tested today. We have the RSI showing positive sentiment. There's no divergence, indicating we should see a higher move towards 100 in the coming weeks. It probably won't be a slam dunk. It might be a little bit of a struggle because there's some overhead resistance there. Moving on to gold. Well, it bounced to the 38.2 retracement of this sell-off there, and then it has been rejected. So will we have another go, and will we see another sell-off down to maybe 3,944? Will we dip below 4,000? Could do it. If it takes out 3,944, well, then we could see another round of heavy selling down to 38.50, possibly lower to 3,800. So let's see about that. It really needs to take out 4,162 to the upside for a move up to around 4,200, 4,237. Silver. Bouncing mode, it can't really get its act together. If it takes out the lows here at just below 47.50, well, then we could see another round of selling down to around 45.30. It needs to bounce. If it takes out, I think if it takes out the peak here from yesterday, well, then we will see a bounce above $50 again, possibly up to 51. But for now, keep an eye on what's going on there. And then platinum, we have much stronger bounce on platinum compared to gold and silver. Spiked higher, spiked above this the 61.8, didn't get all the way up to 786. Can still do it. If it takes out the peak from today, then I think it will do it. Otherwise, maybe sliding back a little bit. So very volatile. Be careful what's doing. You can't really make it. Should it bounce further and resume uptrend, or will it slide lower? Copper, still the same story really. 515 could be tested today. If it does close back above 515, well, then we are above the cloud, above the resistance, positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating like the higher levels. So we could see a push up to 534, possibly higher. On the energy markets, we saw WTI spike above 50%, almost up to 55 moving average. I think we could still maybe see a spike up to the 61.8 at 62.57 there. But key will be what will happen with the RSI. Will it be rejected? It's probably tested it yesterday, the 60 threshold. It needs to close above 60 threshold to move into a positive sentiment. Otherwise, I think we will see it sliding back. Of course, more or less the same picture on Brent crude oil. Spiked just above 55 moving average, just below the 61.8 retracement. I think RSI has been very close to test 60 threshold yesterday. but for now it is being rejected. So if it starts sliding back here, and if it's moved back below $64, then downtrend could resume. On the European nat gas, really just the same range trading picture, so I won't say much about it. I said it so many times, between 30.70 and 33.90. US nat gas is setting back after being rejected up there. So what we can do again, should have done yesterday, but there we can see taking it back 38.2. If it takes out the lows from this morning, then we could see it back to 61.8 retracement at 315, which is also the upper part of that gap there. If it's crawling back and takes out 360, then a bullish trend has been established. There's positive sentiment on the RSI, but it hasn't confirmed with a break up there. On the Treasury yield side, US 10-year Treasury dipped below 4%. It's now trading around it, bouncing. Seems to be some sort of support down here. Didn't take out the lows there, so we could be in a bouncing mode, maybe up to 4.08%. But again, if it takes out 393, then we can see here on the weekly where it's been headed to 384. European yields, here we have the EU bouncing, and I think we could see it bounce to the 262, which is a 38.2 retracement. Unless it takes out 252, then we are down here. Certainly we could see it down here to around 245 to 43. UK, not really strong bouncing mode at the moment. Let's see what happens today, but it didn't take out the lows there, so we should see it bouncing up to the 452. And finally, when we're talking yields, not much to talk about on the Japanese 10-year. It is a little bit to the lower side. They should be happy about that. Still above the rising trend line. And in overall picture, we are still in a bullish trend until and if we take out 161. Crypto, not much to report. We have a little bit of bounce here in Bitcoin. But it will take some lot of more buying above 116,000 to establish a bullish trend. Ethereum also trying to get back, but it needs to get above 42.82 resistance up here to establish a bullish trend. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get there. Talk to you again next weekend.